In the heart of East Africa, amidst the rolling hills and dense forests, lay the village of Nyumbani. This small, picturesque settlement was nestled in a verdant valley, surrounded by vibrant flora and the gentle hum of nature. Despite its natural beauty, the villagers faced relentless hardship. They toiled day and night, but the land seemed unforgiving, yielding only meager harvests and leaving many of them in constant struggle. Among the villagers was a family of 4, Mama Amina, Baba Juma, and their 2 children, Tariq and Fatima. They lived in a modest hut on the edge of the village, a humble abode with walls woven from local grasses and a roof of thatch. The inside of their home was adorned with simple decorations, woven mats, colorful fabrics, and a few handcrafted trinkets that Mama Amina had made with loving care. Mama Amina was known throughout the village for her incredible skill in weaving. She spent hours every day creating beautiful fabrics that she sold at the market. Baba Juma was a hard-working farmer, tending to the small plot of land they owned. Despite their diligent efforts, the soil yielded only a modest amount of maize and millet, barely enough to sustain their family. Tariq and Fatima, though young, contributed as best they could, helping with chores and fetching water from the river that flowed through the village. Life in Nyumbani was marked by struggle. The villagers often gathered around the fire at night to share stories and support one another. Mama Amina and Baba Juma were respected for their resilience and kindness, but the constant strain of their circumstances weighed heavily on them. They dreamed of a better future for their children, but it seemed increasingly out of reach. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky was painted with shades of orange and purple, Mama Amina and Baba Juma sat by the fire. Their faces were illuminated by the flickering flames, and their conversation was filled with a mix of hope and despair. Mama Amina, Baba Juma said, his voice weary, "I am at my wit's end. I cannot bear to see our children go without. We work so hard, yet it feels as if we are forever stuck in this cycle of poverty." Mama Amina sighed deeply, her heart heavy with the burden of their struggles. "I remember my grandmother telling stories of Maji, the water spirit. They say that Maji lives in a sacred river deep in the forest and that it can grant wealth and prosperity to those who approach with a sincere heart. Perhaps it is time we seek out this spirit and ask for its blessing." Baba Juma looked skeptical but was moved by the desperation in Mama Amina's eyes. After a moment of silence, he nodded. "If there is even a small chance that this could change our fate, we must try. We owe it to our family." The following morning, the family set out towards the sacred river. They prepared a modest offering of fruits, grains, and herbs, symbols of their hard work and hope. As they journeyed through the dense forest, the path became increasingly difficult. The air was thick with the scent of wet earth and decaying leaves, and the sounds of the forest, chirping insects, rustling leaves, and distant bird calls, created a symphony of nature. Tariq and Fatima, though tired, were filled with a sense of adventure. Their eyes sparkled with curiosity as they navigated the unfamiliar terrain. Mama Amina and Baba Juma led the way, their steps determined despite the exhaustion that weighed upon them. After hours of trekking, they finally reached the sacred river. It was a serene, shimmering expanse of water, its surface reflecting the sky like a giant mirror. The riverbanks were adorned with lush greenery, and the air was filled with an almost palpable sense of magic. The family approached the river with reverence, placing their offering on a flat rock near the water's edge. Mama Amina and Baba Juma knelt and prayed fervently, their voices mingling with the gentle murmur of the river. They asked Maji for relief from their struggles and for blessings of wealth and prosperity. The river responded with a soft, melodious hum, and the family felt a sense of peace and hope as they left the sacred site. In the days that followed, their lives began to change. The fields, once barren and unyielding, started producing bountiful crops. The village was abuzz with excitement as the family's fortune seemed to shift overnight. Mama Amina's weaving business flourished as well, her creations became highly sought after, and they were able to afford new clothes, better food, and even some luxuries they had never imagined. Despite the outward success, an unsettling feeling began to creep into their lives. The sudden change in fortune brought not only joy but also a deep, nagging unease. The family noticed that their good fortune was accompanied by a sense of foreboding, as if there was a hidden price to pay. Inexplicable illness that seemed to come out of nowhere. Mama Amina, alarmed by his sudden decline, sought the help of the village healer. Despite her best efforts and the healer's remedies, Baba Juma's condition worsened. Within days, he passed away, leaving Mama Amina and the children heartbroken and in shock. The village mourned the loss of Baba Juma, who had been a respected and hard-working member of the community. The tragedy was compounded when Tariq, the young son, began to exhibit similar symptoms. The family's despair deepened as Tariq's condition deteriorated rapidly. Despite their desperate pleas and the healer's efforts, Tariq too passed away, leaving Mama Amina and Fatima to grapple with overwhelming grief. In their anguish, Mama Amina turned to the village elder, Mzi Mwanaidi, for guidance. Mzi Mwanaidi was a wise and revered figure, known for her deep knowledge of the village's traditions and spiritual matters. She listened intently as Mama Amina recounted the family story, their initial hardships, their search for Maji, their newfound prosperity, and the tragic losses that followed. Mzi Mwanaidi's face grew solemn as she listened. When Mama Amina finished, Mzi Mwanaidi spoke with a grave tone. The spirit you sought, Maji, is not a benevolent force. While it may grant material wealth, it does so at a great cost. The deaths of your loved ones are the price you have paid for seeking its favor. Mama Amina's heart sank at Mzi Mwanaidi's words. Is there no way to undo the damage? How can we find peace again? Mzi Mwanaidi nodded slowly. To restore balance and seek true peace, you must turn away from Maji and seek the path of righteousness. The teachings of Christ offer a way to find true solace and protection. Only through faith, honesty, and a life lived in alignment with divine principles can you find lasting peace. With heavy hearts, Mama Amina and Fatima accepted Mzi Mwanaidi's advice. They made the difficult decision to embrace the teachings of Christ and to denounce their previous dealings with Maji. They attended church services, where they learned about the principles of faith, forgiveness, and living a life of integrity. The transformation was not immediate, but it was profound. Mama Amina and Fatima found comfort in their newfound spiritual community. They were welcomed with open arms by the congregation, who offered support and companionship during their time of grief. The teachings of Christ provided them with a sense of purpose and hope, and they began to rebuild their lives with a renewed sense of faith and commitment. As they devoted themselves to their faith, their lives began to stabilize. The fields, while not as bountiful as they had been during their period of prosperity, provided enough to sustain them. They learned to appreciate the simple joys of life and found contentment in their modest means. The village observed their transformation with respect, and their story became a source of inspiration. Mama Amina continued her weaving, but now she did so with a renewed sense of purpose. Her creations, though simpler, were imbued with a sense of peace and gratitude. Fatima, who had grown from a child into a young woman, found solace in her faith and became an active member of the church community. Their story became a poignant reminder in Nyumbani of the dangers of seeking shortcuts to success and the profound peace that comes from living a life of faith and righteousness. The tale of Mama Amina and her family was passed down through generations, a cautionary story of the hidden costs of dealing with deceptive forces and the redemptive power of true faith. In the years that followed, Mama Amina and Fatima found a sense of fulfillment and tranquility in their lives. They embraced their faith fully, living with honesty and integrity. The village of Nyumbani honored their memory not only for their past struggles but also for their courage and resilience in the face of adversity. The tale of Mama Amina, Baba Juma, Tariq, and Fatima became a cherished part of Nyumbani's oral tradition. It was a story that highlighted the perils of seeking material gain through dubious means and the profound rewards of living a life aligned with spiritual and moral values. The family's journey, marked by both hardship and redemption, served as a beacon of hope and a testament to the enduring power of faith and righteousness. As the years passed, Nyumbani thrived in its own way, its people finding strength in their community and faith. Mama Amina's and Fatima's legacy lived on, not just in the stories told around the fire but in the hearts of those who learned from their experience. Their tale was a reminder that true wealth was not measured in material possessions but in the peace, love, and fulfillment found through a life lived with faith and integrity.